Greetings and welcome back to Medieval Engineers. So, I finally did it. There it is. I made a clock, a working clock. Let's go take a closer look. So, here you can see, this is the hour dial and this is the minute dial. At the moment it runs at 15 times the normal speed. So 50 times real speed, I mean, and I think that's totally fine, seeing as this is a game, and if this was running at real time, you probably wouldn't even be able to enjoy the fact that these dials move at all. Well, especially the hour dial. Well, it actually worked out a lot better than I had expected, although I have to say that it was also a lot more challenging than I had expected, so I guess that kind of evens things out. So here you can see the way it works. It may look quite overcomplicated, but this is, well, the best I could do at the moment. There are probably some different ways to do it, some better ways. I will find them eventually, or well, I may find them eventually, but this is the best I have so far. And well, yeah, let's go to the beginning. No, actually, let's go take a look at what I had 2 days ago. So you may remember this from the last episode. I had to patch it up a little bit because oh, and I'm moving too far now. Okay, let's go back. I said go back. Yes, there we go. It's going very slowly. Alright, now we're back to this one. So as you can see, it looks quite a bit different. And yes, it doesn't work as fluently as the other one. It has its jumps, and yeah, it was a good attempt, but it certainly didn't suffice to be called a clock. Especially considering the fact that it did run anti-clockwise. So here we are back at the real clock. And just to prove to you that it actually does move, let's take a quick look at this one. So let's point the cursor there. And I'm holding it still for now, and you can slowly see the hour dial move. Very slowly. It's much more precise than I had ever hoped. Well, at least compared to that one, that was very jumpy. So yes, and the game did throw a bunch of challenges at me that I had to overcome. For one, well, in case you are watching this at a much later time, currently it's the 19th of February. This is the day that this game is released on Steam as early access, but some people had it about a week before from buying it on the Keen website. And well, yeah, obviously I had a lot of time to do all this stuff, and they actually released a new patch today, which kind of broke my my machine. Well, it wasn't complete yet. I was actually building it. I was almost done. Then I patched it, and well, I ran into some problems. For one, the rotors did not work properly anymore, but they quickly patched that, so that wasn't a problem. However, they did change a whole bunch of things under the hood concerning the physics about all these wooden structures. So not all the gears that I made worked properly, but I had to do some slight adjustments, and in fact it works a little bit better now than before after the adjustments, so that's a good thing. However, one thing that was very bad was, for example, this whole thing here, the second section, is actually hanging loose. It's like a big pendulum, and that wasn't intentional. I just ran into that problem when I was building. So normally this section here, as you can see, it goes a bit in a C shape, was very similar to this one. It also went like this, and I was building it, and this part was actually pointing upwards and was connected to this part here. But in order to make this huge dial, which is very much necessary, as I will explain in a moment. So to make this dial, I obviously had to disconnect these things, but well, I disconnected it, and then I saw the whole thing going down like a big pendulum, and for like a full minute or so I was watching the screen and thinking, holy crap, I'm screwed. And I was like thinking, Keen, why did you do this? Why did you do this now? You screwed up my whole plan. But, well, then I started noticing, well, actually, it's still intact. So I continued building everything and I turned the thing on, and to my surprise, it all worked. And I did not test any of these gears in this position. And yeah, it worked. It worked very nicely, which is awesome. So yeah, also have to give a big shout out to Captain Yars. On his channel, I was able to see him work on gears. He had a nice video about that, and I found this gear on his channel, the 12 gear. And it works very nicely in a conjunction with the 8 gear. So that allowed me to have a very smooth gear to, well, yeah, make everything go smooth. So let's talk a little bit about the time slowing down. So this rotor here, it turns around in 20 seconds. It used to be 15 seconds like yesterday, and somehow they changed it. And well, that was actually quite surprising, because I was timing the clock and I was expecting the minute dial to go around in 3 minutes. And well, I was timing it and suddenly it was 4 minutes. And I was thinking, did I screw up somewhere? And I did all my math again over and over, but it wasn't me. And then I timed this rotor again, and apparently it's now 20 seconds. So yeah, instead of it being 20 times as fast, it's only 15 times as fast, so I guess that's okay. Well, yeah, let's take a look at the gears. So this is an 8 to 12. This means this one slows down time with 2/3. And then we have a... Well, actually, you need to multiply time by 2/3. Or something. Crap, it's all fuzzy now, but I really know how it works, because, well, obviously I'm at the clock. This one is a 4 to 8, so this slows it down by 2 times again, and this one again by 2 times, and this one is again a similar one. But I had to do some tricky stuff here. I had to move this one over there to make sure that, so yeah, as you can see, it is pointed the same way as this one here, unlike these ones which are on the back to each other. So I had to move this one around so that this one actually turns clockwise. And to my stupidity, I actually copied this whole thing over for here. And I was watching the hour dial, and after a while I was kind of seeing that it was turning anti-clockwise. So that was a big mistake on my part, but luckily I was able to change it, and now everything is working very properly. So yeah, I'm not sure what else to tell about. Oh yeah, there's one thing. So there is still a minor issue that could become a major issue. I'm not entirely sure, but sometimes, let's say about once an hour, real time that is, something in here locks up just slightly, and then you can see this whole section here swing up just a little bit, and once it's at a certain point, it just seems to snap back to its normal position. And well, that's fine, although the hour dial goes back and forth just a little bit during that time. I'm somewhat concerned that maybe if this happens too often, one of these specs might break off and basically break the machine. Although a peg breaking off wouldn't be that terrible. All it would do is just make the whole thing stop, unless the whole gear snaps off and collapses into the rest. That would be a little more drastic, of course. But other than that, everything actually works very nicely. And another nice thing about the new patch is that you can now copy this whole thing. That used to not be possible. And another nice thing is that you can copy it all, you can even place it all. This was not possible before this patch. This is something that obviously people that buy the game now would never know that it's new, but it is. So it's actually ticking now. I usually do not copy things while they are running, because it could be a bad idea. And I have this whole thing. Oh yes, I'll have the whole thing on the Steam Workshop, so you'll be able to install it yourself. Also, another plan for this is that, as you can see, this dial here, this crazy dial that goes all around, it was pretty much the only way to make both dials come out of the same axis. Although with this one it's somewhat of a virtual axis, I suppose, but they all hinge around this place. But just do a thought experiment for yourself and think how you would actually make two dials come out of the same position. It's very much impossible, although there may be other ways. There most certainly probably are other ways, but I just haven't found any way that I can do it in a reasonable way. Okay, I'm just saying weird things now, but it's the best I can do at the moment. And the plan is to have a wall here. That's why it turns around. So it'll be like a wall here and under it, and there will be a hole in the wall where both these things pop out. And that way that will hide the whole thing here with all the gears. And it will actually look like a clock. So that'll be the next challenge, to try and put this thing into some sort of clock tower. And I haven't actually built any decent structures yet. I've always been making these sort of contraptions. So building a clock tower will be something completely new for me. And also I will need to make some of these things smaller because, well, honestly, this is a little bit too big to put in a tower, don't you think? So I'll have to investigate all of that. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. So yeah, it'll be on the workshop, so you can inspect it yourself and you can adjust things yourself and cannibalize it for parts, whatever. Maybe it'll give you some ideas to make stuff yourself. I don't know, but that'll be it for this episode. I don't know what I'll do next time. We're gonna have to wait and see. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time.